Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Big Brother 27 Roundtable podcast here at RHAP. I'm your host, Taran Armstrong, and this is the podcast where we talk about everything from the feeds this week, and we rate the players based on how well we think they are doing in the game. A survey has been sent out to the listeners of the podcast. You can find it over on Twitter, Blue Sky. If you want to take part, you still have some time, and we will talk about all kinds of answers and things and all kinds of things, because there's plenty to talk about this week. And with me to talk about them, it's Melissa. How you doing, Melissa?
I'm doing great. This has been a pretty exciting week, so I am excited to talk about it.
Yes, and also joining us is QT. How you doing, QT?
I'm doing great anytime I get to talk with you guys about Big Brother. So fun. Yeah, like Melissa said, a great week. So I'm excited about it.
Yes. As I said, plenty to talk about this week because the last time we spoke, Rachel had just blindsided everyone and nominated Riley as the replacement nominee on her HOH. And it really did not seem possible for her to get the votes to evict him. However, over the next few days, the Judges Alliance was formed due to the work of Ashley and Will. They roped in Vince along with Morgan and Rachel. And the vote carried the day after Mickey won the blockbuster. Unbelievably, Riley was sent home, and Vince then won the HOH on the wall. He targeted Mickey, the target from the previous week, the person he had been planning to and hopefully trying to vote out that week. But things went awry when she won the veto, meaning he had to name a replacement nominee, and he was looking at Rachel like she was a juicy steak, and he was a dog in a cartoon. And he really wanted to do it, but he also really didn't want to do it. And after a whole bunch of nonsense that I'm sure we will get into tomorrow morning, Vince has decided not to renom Rachel and instead has put Katherine on the block along with Ava and Kelly. Melissa, oh boy.
Yeah, I honestly thought Rachel was gonna go home this week. I really did think that. Just because I felt like, I mean, that's the thing is I'm not sure what Vince's best move would be, but I don't think putting Rachel up on the block would have been his best move, but I feel like there was a huge chance he would have done it. And I just could picture it happening. So I'm extremely relieved that she did not go up on the block this week. I love watching what she does. I feel like she's the most interesting player there and honestly most competent. And so it would be very sad to have Rachel leave this week. So I'm extremely glad that she's still there. And I think, I mean, honestly, I'll just wait.
Honestly, I agree with everything that Melissa's saying and what her dog is saying. But no, I really think that Rachel is just the queen. Like, it's insane how she's able to get through all of these obstacles and come out on the other side. Like, she literally just nominated Vince last week and he was so mad about it. And then now she's found herself in this position to not be up on the block at all this week, which is crazy. So I think there's a lot of credit due to Rachel. And also, honestly, Mickey is like pulling out these clutch wins, which is so crazy. And what's even wilder is that I don't think she realizes how much of the target she is, or maybe she knows she's the target from the HOH, but not necessarily that she wouldn't have the votes to stay. And because she keeps winning these competitions, she just like feels like she's good still with her people. So it's all very interesting.
Yeah, and I mean, there's so much to talk about this week. The fact that Keanu and Kelly both kind of threw this veto. Keanu hoping that he could throw it to somebody that would then use it and get Rachel on the block. And instead, he has all but guaranteed he is now going to lose a potential ally instead of having the chance at maybe actually getting Mickey out, which would have been at least something for him. Kelly, is on the block and is Kelly. The whole situation with Keanu in the first place, Rachel's campaign to stay, which was riddled from shots on herself, but ultimately the last saving grace that seems to have saved the day for her today, because it seemed like Vince had again changed his mind until she talked to him. And of course, Morgan and the very interesting relationship she currently has with Vince, the amount of time that she's spent trying to convince him to not put Rachel on the block, and the amount of time they are spending talking about making sure they're being respectful to his girlfriend. There's a lot going on here.
There is a lot going on. Some of it is very exciting. Some of it is maybe strange. But this week has been I've been very happy this week because, and last week as well, honestly, I guess maybe let's say the past 3 weeks, this week, the week before, and the week before that, I've actually been engaged in the season and each week what's going to happen. And I've had desires for the week and dreads for the week. And so prior to that, I was kind of about the season as a whole, but I do feel like I'm way more invested now. So I certainly appreciate that. As far as Vince's moves this week, I think that Katherine should have been a really easy nomination in the first place. I think that that whole lie about, oh, I thought it was a sympathy vote and they tricked me or whatever, is insane. And he should have just stuck to his guns and been like, look, I'm sorry, I had to vote with the House. There you go. And I mean, what good does it do to have Katherine on his side at the beginning and now make her mad? None of it makes any sense. So I feel like he should have just stuck to it and been like, sorry, yeah, I did vote him out. Okay. Now you're on the block. Okay. Done. It's one person.
That's my problem with Vince's HOH this week is I feel like he just needed to stick to something. Whether or not the move of putting Kat up, not putting Rachel up is good or bad, I don't think matters as much as the intention behind what you do. And he's been just very wishy-washy, telling everyone different things, and everyone feels like they can control him. So then the people that he ends up not siding with by putting Kat up feel like everything that they did was for nothing. So I don't know, he just was too on the fence about things. And I don't think he actually was as on the fence as he was trying to make it seem to the people he was talking to. So if he would have just been more intentional and this is what I'm doing, he just needs to be a stronger HOH, because now I feel like if he gets to the end and talks about this move, people are going to feel like, yeah, but you were kind of on the fence about a lot of things the whole week.
Yeah, they're already talking about Vince as man, he's just another Lauren. Can't make a decision, back and forth, constantly complaining. And it is certainly not helping his ability to win in the end, but that's, a ways off. And I don't think it's too important yet, but certainly not doing him favors in the game itself. You start to look like an unreliable ally. Every time you make a decision, you're 50-50 on it. You had to be talked into keeping Morgan in the first place. You had to be talked into not betraying your alliance. And when other people are in power and they are making decisive decisions, there's a good chance they're going to be like, oh, look, it's a baby. I'm going to want to talk about a baby when it's on the screen.
Sorry, he just got home, so we wanted to say hi. Hi.
Honestly, rather talk about him than Vince.
Alan, what do you think? What do you think of Vince's HOH? Good, bad? Good, bad?
Oh.
He wants to know what you think.
He's like, I don't know. Hi. Yeah.
Oh, he's such a happy baby.
Yeah?
Oh my gosh.
Right there? You want to touch the computer? Okay. Okay. That's good. Okay, go ahead, Daddy.
My heart.
There's our weekly check-in.
Yeah, weekly baby check-in. It's going to be so fun at the end, to go back and see week by week him getting older and older. It's very strange to see him in just a little teeny baby in his first appearance.
Someone
What's
needs to
wild
clip
is-
together all the
Yeah.
times that he makes an
Oh my
appearance.
God,
Go
I would
ahead.
love that.
What's wild is that he is already more decisive than Vince.
Yeah, he's just like, that one.
Sure.
So yeah, I mean, I just feel like what a disaster of an HOH round. And the thing too is, this has gone back and forth. I've mentioned this a few times. I think people will be a little more open to hearing it now that it's not a possibility. But I really do think he should have targeted Rachel. I think that was the move from the start. You set it up, you knock it down, you get Morgan on board, you get your people together, you say, Rachel's not trustworthy. Here's all the things she's done. You get as much dirt from Keanu as you can. You get as much dirt from Kelly as you can. You milk some dirt out of Morgan, and you make the move happen. He did not do that. By the time he didn't do it, it did start to look a little bit too late. And by the time he nearly almost did it now, his shot was so unlikely to land that it did start to look like maybe he really shouldn't do it at this point. That said, as the feeds went down for the ceremony and I was thinking like he might do this, I was thinking again and I was like, man, even after everything he's done, I do still think there's a way through this, but there's also a way through not doing it. It's just that he's chosen the worst path in both scenarios. And that's just consistently who Vince is. And now he's in a spot where there's just a good chance that Kelly leaves on this HOH, meaning he's had 2 HOHs and the things that he has done on them is nominate his ally Kelly and lose his ally Zay. And then on his next HOH, finish the job on Kelly. When he has so many offs in the house.
Yeah, no. I feel like it's tough because I think Vince could be a very good player if he would just confidently make a decision, like confidently create a plan and go with it, rather than, I think it's one thing to kind of sometimes act as if like, I don't know, oh man, I was taken advantage of or whatever. In specific situations, I think that can work really well. But I think ultimately, in order to be a player, you have to just like play. And I don't like the idea that he's just constantly every single week being like, I don't know what to do. Oh gosh, this is so difficult for me, when it'd be a lot better for his game. Like you said, if it's targeting Rachel this week, okay, then do it. Don't do this weird thing where now you've pissed off some like Kelly and these other people. I mean, Kelly's not going to trust him anymore because he was willing to sacrifice her. If really she's his final 2 and he put her up on the block twice, that's not a good thing. And I don't think Kelly's stupid enough to be like, well, I guess that's just what an ally does. Maybe the first time around because she volunteered, but I think, at this point, it's very obvious that he doesn't view her in the same way that she viewed him. And so I really do think that Vince would benefit, and Lauren as well, honestly, from just making a decision and just saying, yeah, I had to do it this way. I'm sorry I had to do this, but this is the way it is. And it's best for my game. I hope you guys respect that. And boom, there, he gains respect. Maybe people will be mad, but people are mad anyway. So you might as well get some respect out of it.
It's wild.
I think that's the Oh, sorry. I was just going to say, I think that's the problem with how the house is split up right now, is that there's one side of the house that's actually doing something and has players that are capable of playing the game, like Mickey and Rachel. Even though Mickey's not part of the judges, she's still kind of on that side. And even Ashley having good reads. And then you have the other side of the house that Vince is also trying to appease, where it's like him and Lauren can't make decisions. Kat was wrapped around Riley for half the season, and now has like no leeway in the game. Keanu has really bad reads. Kelly offers herself up on the block. Like, it's not a strong foundation on this side. So I think that he, honestly, if he wasn't going to put Rachel up, then he needs to pull in all the judges. Now that he's HOH, pull them into a room together and be like, listen, we're doing this. I'm not nominating any of you guys. Like, let's really solidify and show that he's really on their side. But now they can be looking at it like, he was contemplating putting Rachel up, and kind of Ashley too. So we can't 100% trust him. He's still going to be on the bottom of our alliance instead of him really solidifying what they started last week.
Totally. I think you're totally right. I think that he should have just, if you're going to go with one side of the house, then go with that side. Either bring in all the misfits who don't have an alliance and just be like, look, they've got this thing called the judges. Obviously, it's not real because I don't believe in it. So I want to work with you guys. Like, I want nothing to do with them. It helped me out last week, but now we're like, we're together and I want to like join forces, do whatever. Either do that or, like you said, solidify with the judges, even if you don't really think it's true or you don't believe in it. Now he's kind of just pissed off both sides for being so wishy-washy. He hasn't picked a side. I wouldn't trust him as an ally. So I just think he needed to have picked his target or picked a side and gone with it instead of doing this. Well, I don't know, maybe this side, maybe that side, maybe I can be swayed this way. It's just not good.
I've said it a bunch of times before, but like, the reason you play all sides as much as possible on Big Brother is because you're not in power. When you're in power, you get to choose. You get to choose what happens. So you set things up to happen the way you want them to be set up. And then when you're not in power, you play the field a little more. You make sure you're covered because you don't know who's going to get into power. And obviously, you need to set yourself up to play that way when you're HOH, but you do that by doing something. You shouldn't be reactive as the HOH. You should be proactive. Consistently, we have seen that is the way to win if you are a winner of this show. But he just keeps doing the same things. And it's wild because after the nomination of Katherine today, Keanu is berating him in the boxing gym and genuinely schooling the man on how he should be playing. Keanu is doing this. Keanu, and I mean this genuinely, knows how to play Big Brother better than Vince does. He's just a complete, delusional person who trusts the wrong people and has a terrible social game, but knows actually how to play more than Vince does. Vince has a better social game, has no idea how to play this game. Just no idea.
Oh, yeah. Man.
Keanu was spitting some facts today to Vince, even though it was like a little bit dramatic. There were some things where I was like, okay, I can see where you're going. And even some life lessons. He was turning it into like from Big Brother to outside in the outside world, what you need to do.
I can't with Keanu. I'm so disappointed in him because I do think that Rachel wanted to work with him. And I think he could have gone really far partnering with Rachel. And yet he chose not to. And the thing is that I could understand if he felt completely betrayed by her or things like that, but he shouldn't have felt betrayed because she literally told him he was her one person that she was strategizing with when she was HOH. And she was telling him, this is what's going to happen. This is what I'm going to do. I'm going to Riley's coming after you. She gave him all the information. And then he was shocked that she actually was able to get it accomplished. I mean, he was annoyed with her when she put Riley on the block, but he wasn't so anti-Rachel, she's got to go until Riley went home. Then Riley goes home and he's pissed that she had a successful HOH. It's just frustrating because he should have been like, okay, I want to work with you more now because first of all, you were able to get that done. I'm very impressed, which he did say he was impressed, but turns out that's a bad thing to be impressed. And then he should have said, okay, you told me all this stuff that was going to happen. You've been working with me all week. That's a good thing for me. I should be using that. I should be keeping you around because obviously you trust me because you were able to tell me what was going to happen or what your moves were going to be. Even though I don't like it, you at least communicated that with me. And instead, he just is like, we got to get Rachel out. We got to get her out, which doesn't make any sense for his game and is entirely frustrating because I feel like they could have gone far together and I don't know. It's just frustrating.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, it's wild the way that, again, like Keanu knows better how to play the game, but is so opposite in terms of like effectiveness and what he actually should be. Like, Rachel makes a move that does benefit Keanu. taking out Riley. It does benefit him. He doesn't realize this because he thinks Keanu is his best friend in the game, but Riley didn't even like Keanu, and was planning to nominate him if he won HOH. Keanu doesn't believe it until he's told by a man, but it's true. After that happens, and he is burned not by Rachel, but by Vince, who lied to him about what he was going to do with the vote and let him hang on a 4 to 5 vote. He was betrayed by Vince and then subsequently decides, oh, that was a huge shot to my game. In response, I'm going to try to get out one of the only people that I'm actually working with, Rachel. He pushes hard for Rachel to be backdoored, for Rachel to be nominated, for her to be renominated. Vince burns him again, doesn't nominate Rachel, outs the fact that he was pushing for Rachel to be evicted. Rachel now pissed at Keanu, and his response again this time after being burned is, now I need to out my final 2 with Rachel to you. Like he just continues to go deeper and deep. The more he is screwed over, the more he goes deeper into the relationship with the man that screwed him over. It's happened all season long between Zay, Zach, Jimmy, Riley. Like, it just consistently happened. The more he is screwed over, the more he dives in with the person. It's so ridiculous.
Yeah, Rachel has actually been a good ally to him, and yet he doesn't want it for whatever reason.
Yeah, for the fact alone that Rachel has been telling him Riley is coming after you, and Vince doesn't tell Keanu that Riley's coming after you until after he's voted him out and burned Keanu by not telling him before. Like, why are you just telling me that 2 weeks ago Riley said that he was coming for me? Now you're telling me after the fact? Like, now it looks shady, but he still appreciates Vince telling him more than Riley. It's like, I mean, more than Rachel. It's crazy.
Mm-hmm. All right. Should we talk a little bit about some of the survey responses here?
Yes.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we do have the player rankings to rank the players from your favorite to your least favorite. Yeah, I'd like to just let's take a look at what we had last week, perhaps. And try to get a sense of like how different we think the week is this week. This is that's not the right one. This is last week. Rachel, Ava, and Will on top. Keanu in 4th place last week.
Oh,
Crazy.
Riley
not going to be there.
Riley down at the bottom.
Oh, he can't be the bottom anymore.
Exactly. Riley has been at the bottom all season long. From week 1 to now, it has consistently been Riley. So we will, for the first time all season, have a new last place finisher.
I think it'll be Mickey. And then I think above Mickey, I could see, Kelly. And then above Kelly, maybe Keanu.
I know. I feel like Keanu went all the way down.
All right. Well, I think there's few enough people. Let's just start from the top and try to get a sense of this. So, Rachel's still number 1. You guys think that's the case?
100%.
That is true. Ava was number 2. Where do you think Ava falls?
I don't think she's 2. I don't think she's
I think she fell. I feel like she's maybe a 3 or 4 now.
Yeah, I think Will or Ashley. Probably Will. I'll just say Will because Will was there before.
Oh, true. I think I'm going to go Ashley for 2, but it's probably Will.
Ashley has snuck into 2nd place.
Oh, wow.
On the player rankings.
And then Will?
And then Will.
Okay. And then I think
Ava?
I think Ava, but I could honestly see Morgan going up there.
That's true.
I feel like Morgan's had a really good week.
Yeah, people have been liking her. Okay, wait. Morgan, so right now we have Rachel,
Ashley, Will,
Ava. Or no,
I
Will.
think Morgan.
Okay, yeah, Morgan.
It is Morgan in 4th place.
Wow, good for Morgan.
Yeah.
Then Ava, I think.
You're right.
Then Ava. Yes.
Then Lauren.
And yeah, Lauren.
Then Katherine.
It is not Lauren.
Oh.
Cool. Is it Katherine then Lauren again?
No.
Like last week.
Oh.
Is it Mickey?
No, there's no way. Is it Vince?
He did what they wanted. It's Vince.
Oh my God.
Wow.
You
Okay.
people.
Keeping Rachel safe.
Yeah, they're like, okay, we usually like him. Okay, so wait.
Then Lauren after.
Yeah,
Vince.
then it's gotta be Lauren.
Then it is Lauren.
Then Katherine.
Then it's Katherine.
Mickey.
I think.
Oh. Is it Keanu?
I think then it's Keanu, Kelly, Mickey.
It is Mickey first.
Oh, down at the bottom or
No. Third to last.
Oh wow.
Okay.
Then
So the bottom two are Keanu and Kelly.
Keanu, then Kelly, I think.
Yeah, I think Keanu. Nah. Yeah, I think Keanu and then Kelly on the bottom.
Keanu and then Kelly. These are the new rankings. Rachel at the top, followed by Ashley, who makes a big jump from 5th place to 2nd place. Will maintains 3rd place. Morgan jumps from she was in, there were 11 players last week, or 12. So she was like 10th last week. Jumps all the way up to 4th place.
Crazy.
Wild. And then we have Ava in 5th place, who dropped from 2nd place to 5th place. Then Vince, who jumped up a couple of spots, basically just leapfrogged over Katherine and Lauren. Then we have Lauren and Katherine. Then Mickey, who was 2nd to last time and has now managed to jump over Keanu. Then Keanu, who fell from 4th place all the way down to 10th place here, which is obviously a pretty dramatic fall. And then finally, Kelly at the very bottom, who was above Morgan and Mickey and Riley last week, but Riley is gone, and Kelly has now taken the first non-Riley last place placement on the player rankings.
I think Morgan.
Crazy.
Oh, go ahead.
Oh no, you can go.
I was just gonna say, I think Morgan's had a really good week this week. I think both, obviously people like that she's working with Rachel or whatever, but I think generally, like outside of that, I think she's been making good decisions this week, because I think that this judges thing is really good for her. I think that she could have been next in line to be targeted had this judges thing not come up. And I think that, I really thought she was going to be the next one to go. And then now she seems way more insulated, and her working with, Ashley and Will and that side is really good for her, because it makes the other side, it makes a lot more targets in front of her before she goes, before it makes sense to target Morgan from that side. So, I've been very impressed with Morgan this week, especially the amount of work that she's been putting in to try and keep Rachel off the block. She's been putting in good work, and not just work where we were always like, she's doing too much. I think she's doing a lot, but I think it's like the right amount of a lot this week versus previous weeks where it was just like, stop. So yeah, I've been impressed with Morgan this week.
Yeah, Morgan was working hard, especially yesterday. She was just constantly from room to room talking to people and working hard. I love that. Also, I love how this list is kind of who's like the most with Rachel to who wants her gone the most. It's like from the top to bottom.
Yeah, it's basically the judges, but Ava sneaking in above Vince at the top, and then everyone else.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Which is pretty wild. Okay, so that was the player rankings.
Well, I also think Ava fell because of that weird Riley stuff. Like I think Ava would have had a good week where it was like, yay, she voted out Riley. Wow, great. We love her. Move her to the top. But then the fact that she was like sobbing and saying like, I hate you all, and really upset seemingly about this decision that she made, that to me, turned me off a bit, because I was kind of like, okay, it's Riley. Like, let's not get too heartbroken over this. I've never really seen them interact or have. I could understand if Katherine had that sort of reaction, like, yeah, of course. But Ava, like, this is just some random guy to you. Like, what is, I think it's like, I honestly think it's the fact that all those people in the house are viewing Riley in one way that we are not seeing. And they are viewing him as this like golden boy. Everybody loves him, like America's sweetheart. He's going to win America's favorite house guest. And, so like the idea that I'm the one voting out America's favorite is so like sad to me. And I'm so upset about it or whatever. And, if she only knew that like, that's not the way we're viewing it, I think she'd probably have a bit of a different reaction.
All right. Well, I also had the audience rate the episodes this week, and I've enjoyed playing around with the visuals. So I actually remember I had the chart last time, but I actually separated it into its own individual page. This is the historic episode ratings for the past. It looks like 7 seasons, basically, all the way back to Big Brother 21 when I started asking this question: how would you rate the episodes this week? We have Big Brother 27 at the top, unfilled in because we're still going. But you can see historically, week 7, not so great. BB 21 through 24, but BB 25 and 26 a little bit better. So I separated it so that you can see just the color coding as well for like what's a good rating versus what's a bad rating specifically for episodes. So this week, the audience gave the week 7 episodes a 7 out of 10. So same as last week, but very high for the week historically. Last week or last season, a 6.4. This week, Big Brother 25, a 7.4. But before that, all under 6s.
Do you know what happened this week in Big Brother 25? Why it got such a high rating? Do we know?
Week 6 into week 7 would have been still around the like day 44 double eviction kind of stuff going on at that time.
That's actually a good point. I wonder if historically double eviction episodes or like weeks that there is a double eviction, do those get a bump because double evictions are exciting usually?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
And it was a good one too, with like Corey winning and taking out like Jared and all of that stuff.
Yeah. I mean, I agree. I think that the week's episodes have been very good. I really enjoyed them. So
right, yeah. I think it was counting the double, and the double eviction was Cam getting voted out, and then Jared in the double eviction. So it was both of them getting evicted.
Like yes.
And then Zombie Week hit, which really didn't quite tank the episode ratings as much as you would think. But I'm interested to see what the feeds say. But yeah, 7 this week for these episodes. I think that kind of tracks. The eviction episodes have been phenomenal. But the other episodes maybe not quite as fun. But like, I don't know. I mean, the eviction episodes alone have been so good. I'd definitely consider going higher for me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I thought Sunday's episode was good too.
You
said You didn't say yeah. You said Do you disagree?
It's because of BB Unlocked.
I didn't. No, I don't know. I thought I liked there was a kind of a short little segment at the beginning instead of like a full on.
Yeah, I actually preferred it on Sunday's episode than the normal like Friday 6 hour long episode.
6 hour episode.
I actually do think the Sunday episode was pretty good. I don't think there's anything wrong with the Sunday episode.
Okay.
Also, just want to point out that BB22 is mostly red.
Oh yeah.
Great.
I did go over the historic data a bit more on stream, just because obviously we're here to talk about this week in BB27, but there's a lot of interesting kind of like trends and data that you can sort of look at just visually in the chart. But let's talk about the feeds. You can see, here we go, Big Brother 25 into Zombie Week, going from a 6.8 on the feeds to a 2.9. Oof.
Wow. Big drop.
So historically, week 6 has been a very good week for feeds, almost all in the green. Nothing too high, but like no real duds, and that includes Big Brother 27. Last week was a 7.4. But then going into week 7, almost all red. Almost all neutral to red ratings here. So historically,
interesting.
this has been a shift,
This is the
dramatic
dip.
shift in the seasons in the last like 7 years, but not Big Brother 27, because this week a
Wow.
7.4,
Whoa.
the highest by a decent margin for the feeds rating. In
that'll
week
be
7.
really interesting. I wonder if, because you're right. It looks like week 6 to week 7 is the cliff. And after that, there's no recovery. I mean, you can get like a 6 or something, but it doesn't look like you can't reach a 7. So, I mean, I think that's a good sign. Hopefully it stays this way.
It's so interesting to look at it. It's like mostly green on the left side, mostly red on the right side. Like, and this is the turning point almost every season in the last few, that things start to go red from here. And so far this season, it's holding.
Oh my gosh, I hope it stays. I'm like looking at that. I'm like, oh man, we're going to have to talk about like these like 3 weeks, 2.9, 2.4. Like, no, I want like good weeks.
And I mean, I can't say it's not true. I mean, these feeds have been ridiculous, but they've certainly been compelling. So let's talk about the season rating then. This one, much more sort of even. There's certainly some seasons like Big Brother 23 that start very strong and then start to taper off. Some seasons like Big Brother 22, which start a bit neutral and then continue to slide. Big Brother 21, which starts bad and stays pretty bad most of the time.
No.
But then there's Big Brother 26, which, despite the tanking in the feeds ratings and the episode ratings, relatively stayed consistent with its season rating as a whole. I think a lot of people basically kind of like tapped out of the season and didn't bother to engage with the boring stuff. And we're like, the season's still good overall, though, even though it's pretty boring at the end. So interesting stuff there. Last week, season 27 had a 5.9. We've had a bit of a dip from week 1, which started at a 7.4, started dropping 7.1, 6.2, 5.3 at its lowest in week 4, then slowly rising to a 5.6, then a 5.9 last week. So this week, it got a 5.9 again. No increase.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay.
I thought that maybe it would go up. I feel like this season, this is kind of how I've been feeling about this season. Like, it started high. Then there was a point where I was like, I don't even know if I'm going to finish the season. It feels like very boring and mundane, and these people are making dumb moves. And then now it's starting to go up a little bit. And I feel like this was one of the better weeks. So maybe next week it'll really start to hit its peak.
I think people are still like holding. Like, I feel like I'm like, I don't know if I really truly think that this will be a good season, but right now it's not like it's looking promising.
I screwed this up. Somebody was like, "Are you sure this is right?" And I was like, "Yeah, it's the same as last week every time. What's happening?" It's because I was looking at last week's data.
Oh no! Oh my god!
Okay, it's not that bad. It's not that bad.
I was thinking that. I was like, it is crazy that we everyone voted exactly the same, but okay.
The episodes were a 6.9, not a 7. So basically the same. No analysis needs to change. The feeds were even more of a shift. They were a 7.8 this week.
Oh, wow. That's really good.
So an even bigger margin ahead of the others. And the season as a whole is not a 5.9. That was surprising. But a 6.7, a massive swing upward.
Oh,
that makes more sense in my head. That's more aligned with how I'm feeling about the season.
Yeah, I thought it would have been at least a 6 was my thought. Right. I was surprised that they're like, not yet.
Right.
I had once I took the graphic from last week's player rankings off the screen, I had to go back to the old survey to look at those to compare, and then I just didn't go back.
That's so funny.
But yes, a big jump up from 5.9 to 6.7. We are back in at least neutral territory compared to the previous few seasons. Nowhere near the lows of BB22 and 21 at this time.
Jeez, those are so bad. No, I mean, I think it's accurate. I don't think that anyone yet, like I said, my point still stands. I think we're still in a holding pattern. I don't think that yet I could say like, I love this season or this is a great season. It really will depend how things progress from here. Obviously last week, this week, they're good weeks, but we'll see how this pans out, on the whole.
Yeah. I feel like I'll look back at this season and not necessarily think like, oh, that's one of the best seasons. But as I'm in it right now, I'm like, okay, this is fun. Frustrating at times, but like I'm having a good enough time,
Yeah.
Well, I did do one more historic rating. That is, I asked the audience to rate the HOH reign for the week. So I have filled in all of the previous HOH reign questions over the last few seasons.
Oh, wow.
This is so fun.
I thought
it's
it was
very fun to look at it. Yeah.
We actually started with Taylor's HOH reign in Big Brother 24, which famously was a 3.7. I've been thinking about this lately. Like, Taylor got so much heat, from myself included, for this HOH because she like promised people safety accidentally too quickly and then had to go back on it and then like considered putting Joseph up on the block. And a lot of people use it to like discredit her as a strategist overall. Like, oh, but remember her HOH week being so terrible. It's like if you took Taylor's HOH week from BB24 and you put it into this season.
Oh, yeah.
It would be. I mean, maybe without Rachel's last week, probably the best one of the season. Because she didn't actually put up Joseph. Right. She only accidentally promised people safety too quickly and then quickly went back on it and ended up getting out a target that was good for her. And she came out with a positive spin.
Yeah, we're obviously grading on a curve for this season.
But interesting stuff. Rachel at a 7.6 last week is already the highest rated HOH week in the history of asking this question. However, I thought about this and I realized I think that this is a more interesting question if I ask it after the fact, historically, because some of these ratings, for instance, Rachel's, she got a 7.6 at that time, but at that time, it didn't seem like Riley was going to actually go. Now, was that a good rating for that time? Maybe, maybe not. But if we're looking at it historically, a better rating would be, what do you think Rachel's HOH week should be rated now, after the fact?
Yeah.
And I have done this a couple of times already. Like we did this with Leah's HOH in week 9 of last season. We did a retrospective rating. I think we did the same with Mackenzie the following week because that was kind of fun. And then I forgot about it this season. But I want to kind of do that moving forward. So it will impact the validity of how you can compare the new ratings to the old ones, theoretically. But still, I think we'll start doing it now. So I asked the question. Last week, they gave Rachel a 7.6. What do you guys think the audience rated Rachel's HOH reign now?
Oh, like a 9.
Yeah, like 8.5.
Yeah.
Melissa, spot on. It was a 9.
Wow.
Which changes the color coordination of every single rating.
Oh my God.
That's crazy. Wow.
I mean, because at the time it was like, why did you, I look, we were all happy that she nominated Riley, but it just seemed like the whole house was disappointed in that and they were really upset by it. And so now knowing that she got out Riley and there's no fallback from that because, Riley's gone. And the people who voted him out. So really there'd be fallback on them as well. I mean, I guess Keanu is not thrilled, but who cares? It was a great HOH week. She did an excellent job, especially considering that she was in a lot of danger. And now she's not in danger of going home this week, which was my big concern, was like, what happens next? And now she's not in danger this week. Obviously she could be in danger next week, but she's not in danger this week.
Yeah, I mean, what I might do ultimately is like keep the original ratings in one chart and then start a new chart with retrospective ratings. We might do something like that because
Yeah.
it really does throw off the scale. I think you're
No,
much
no, I
more
think
likely to
that's-
give a
yeah.
really high or really low rating based on results. But either way, we'll start doing that. Rachel's HOH week, a 9 from the fans for last week. But that means that this week we have a new HOH to rate, and that is
Oh gosh.
Vince. What do you guys think?
I think ultimately it will end up being a good week, I think. But I don't think it's a great week for Vince. So, yeah, I think it's fairly low. But I don't think it's like the worst ever. I just think he ultimately, I think, made some decent decisions. But I think the flip-flopping back and forth is not so great.
Yeah,
so
I feel like
I'd say below 5. Like
in
4.
theory, it's not horrible, but it's like what he's doing with it is. So it's kind of bad. But like who he nominated, I don't think is horrible. It's just like how he went about the whole HOH that I think is really bad.
Well, also we're in the wrong view here. Sorry about that. But the audience gave Vince's HOH a 4.9.
Okay.
4.9, which I think actually kind of tracks with the historic Week 7 HOHs. Quinn's last season was a 3.3. Fair. Jared's the season before it, a 2.7.
Yikes.
Oh, boy.
That was Jared's HOH leading into the double eviction. I guess Corey should be in the double eviction spot, right?
Who did Michael get out?
This was the Dire Fest week that Michael got out. What's her name?
I don't remember. What does she look
Blindside
like?
Butterbeans. Jasmine.
Oh, Jasmine.
Oh yeah.
Ah, okay.
I love that that's how you remembered her. Not
Blindside Butterbeans. Yeah. That's so funny. And we're all like, oh, yeah. Okay.
I was like,
Jasmine.
oh, yeah, of course.
All right. So there it is. Those are the ratings for the week. For the other stuff, at least, we'll, of course, get to the players soon. A couple more questions, though. Did Vince choose the correct replacement nominee?
I think everyone's going to say yes. I personally don't. I don't know if I do or not. I'm like kind of neutral about it.
Yeah, I think people are going to say yes. But yeah, I agree with QT. Like, I think ultimately it will end up being good for him, I think. But it really just depends. The fact is he didn't handle the whole week properly. So I do feel like, I think if he just put Rachel up right now, I don't think that would have been a good move for him. I think that he would have needed to lay the groundwork for that and gotten everyone on board in the beginning of the week versus, oh, I'm just going to put Rachel up. Like, I just don't think that would have been a good move for him. So ultimately, yes, I do think he made the right move.
Well, 64% of the audience did say yes, meaning 36% said no. So it's still fairly divided, especially for a choice that the audience obviously had a preference for it to be that kind of close is, I think, fairly telling. I think this is still a fairly split decision from the audience in terms of what's actually better or worse for his game.
Yeah.
Finally, who do you want to be evicted this week? Kelly, Katherine, or Ava?
Kelly is what I'm assuming people will say.
87% of the audience said Kelly. 11% said Katherine. 2% said Ava.
It sucks because I want to root for Kelly. I do. But she's just making decisions that are just not good for her. And I feel like,
oh man, why do I instigate so much?
I just think that she could have. I think that initially when Rachel put out the olive branch, she really should have taken it. And I don't just say that because, oh, I like Rachel. I say that because Kelly had no one. No one wanted to work with Kelly. Kelly was going to be the next target. Kelly was constantly going up on the block. So when Rachel, who didn't really have any allies at the time, put out an olive branch for Keanu, for Kelly, like the outsiders, and Kelly just rejected it. It's not good. It's disappointing. Kelly should have really, even if Kelly was suspicious of Rachel or wasn't really sure, should have at least accepted it, quote unquote, and then move forward from there, trying to find her footing. But instead, she just doesn't have any footing in the game. Sometimes she'll say things that is like, oh, I don't trust Vince anymore, or whatever, and then not do anything with the information that she has by being like, okay, now I need to go find someone else to be in alliance with. Instead, she's just like, Vince, I hope you're still a part of, like, thinking about our final two or whatever. And it's disappointing, because I do think that she's in that underdog position. So we should be rooting for her generally, but we're just not, because she's just not using what information she has. She's not trying to get in a better spot in the game. She's kind of just accepted the fact that she's going to be, randomly put up on the block by her allies and just be okay with that.
Yeah, I feel like the reason I don't feel bad for her, even though she's in the underdog spot, is that she's put herself there, like, actively from week one. Like, that the fact that for the first 3 weeks of the show, she was volunteering herself as a pawn and saying she wants to instigate and do these crazy things is what's led her to now. Everyone that becomes HOH is going to put her up. Even if she wins Blockbuster this week and stays another week, she's going to go back up. And it's all because of how she set herself up in the game. And even to your point, what you said about, like, Rachel put out the olive branch. That's great. Someone that you feel bad about and that you want to target, if they're putting an olive branch out to you, okay, great. Now they won't target you from their side, even if you still want to, if you possibly do win HOH, but you don't know that if you're going to win or not win. So I just feel like she's put herself here. So it's like, it's not that everyone was just against her to be against her. She's done stuff to instigate to now be in this position. So it's hard to root for her because she's done this. And then even this week, she was like, if I won veto, I would have used it on Ava. Like, she's still just not getting it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's wild. Like, the obsession with Rachel is so deep, because, like, Rachel genuinely was trying to work with Kelly, or not work with, I shouldn't say that. Rachel was campaigning to get Kelly out in week one, but she was primarily trying to get Zay out. Like, Zay was the person she wanted out the most. She was just campaigning against Kelly in the event of an Amy Kelly scenario. Whereas a lot of other people were pushing strictly for Kelly to be the evictee. And so that certainly could have been a start of all of this. But the fact of the matter is, aside from that, Rachel has consistently been a person who has tried to be nice to Kelly where other people weren't. Consistently been somebody who is trying to align with Kelly when others weren't. And Kelly has consistently decided to reject those advances and trash talk the hell out of Rachel, instigate things, blame her for things, lie about her, so many things. And then when Rachel finally figures it out, finally realizes that Kelly's doing all of this, and gives Kelly a little bit of pushback, a little bit of attitude, she's like, I've never been spoken to this way in my life. And it's just like, what, really? Like, you can't dish it and not take it, dude. Like, what are we doing here?
Also, what would be the benefit of Kelly staying at this point? Oh, okay, so she's just going to be put up on the block again. Like, I just feel like it shakes up the game to get that out of there. Like, take away that option of, like, well, we could always put Kelly up. Take that out of the equation, and then you're left with, more interesting combinations for an HOH to do. I just don't really see Kelly even as, like, an integral, like, moving part of the house. I feel like she's always on the outside of things. Whereas I feel like Ava and Katherine, things could happen with them. They could have interesting storylines. I feel like we've seen Kelly's storyline, and that's that. So I honestly, like, if I had my choice, I would prefer probably Kelly to go out this week, just because I don't feel like, there's, like, an interesting storyline left with that. It doesn't seem like people actually want to work with her. She's not a trustworthy ally, so I can see why people don't want to work with her. And, she's just kind of on the outs. So it doesn't really do anyone any good to have her stay in.
All right. Should we rate the players then?
Yes.
Okay, here we go. These are the player ratings. This is where we rate the players from 1 to 10 based on how well we think they are doing in the game. The three of us will rate along with the audience, and then those ratings will be incorporated into the realitystockwatch.com game that you can play along with at home. I believe this season has been quite a roller coaster for players in the Reality Stockwatch. So I wish you all luck, but we'll see what happens this week. Now, something fun and important to remember from last week is that we did these ratings immediately following Riley's nomination when it did not seem like the votes were really even close to being there to evict him. And so there was all kinds of all kinds of like, speculative, this looks bad, as well as some very clear, we would love to see this change, and would be very happy to see this change and really hope this changes. But as of right now, things are looking fairly dire. And so take last week's ratings as a snapshot of how dire things were. Although what I will say is very proud of my Riley one. Really nailed that one.
You were right.
Really nailed that one. But let's start with Ashley, who last week got 4s and has really, like, all season long been riding this line 4, 5, 4, 5, 4. So how do we think Ashley holds up now? Pretty well. This is a breakout week for Ashley in many ways. The reason being, she has not only avoided the block, but she has helped start an alliance that is now running the show to some degree and has now won a close vote, taken out a huge threat on the other side, and is now controlling the HOH of another week and will now be taking out another number from the other side. She is keeping her foes in check. And I also think starting to build some respect. Ashley started fairly low in terms of the social hierarchy. She took a long shower and was a house pariah because of it. People in the house apparently thought she was dumb. And she has really been like kicking things into gear from here. The things she's saying are starting to be respected. I think a huge thing for her was Mickey's fall, like, opened up a vacuum. And in that vacuum came players like Morgan back into play and Ashley, who is sort of taking over some of that space that Mickey occupied. And I'm really impressed by not only her creating the alliance, but being a huge part of making sure that Vince didn't turn on it. And I think her end game makes some sense. The fact that she was able to pull Morgan so close to her after Morgan said, Zach, you talk to her all the time.
No,
all the time, Zach, is pretty wild. I think this is such a good week for Ashley. I'm really bullish on her right now. I'm going to give her a 7.
Yeah, I mean, I'm between a 6 and a 7, to be honest. I think she's had a really great week. I think I only think I'm hesitant on the 7 because I do think that she had a chance to be put up as the replacement nominee this week. And that made me very nervous. But I think overall, she's done some really great work and I'm excited to see it. I love the work that she's done. I think her and Morgan could be a really good team. So I'd be interested to see if they continue their relationship. I'm going to give her a 6 and then see what happens next week. I think because she was so close to being a renom, like I just feel like I have to give her a 6, but I would love to go up next week.
I'm going to come in here and have a little fun because I really like Ashley. I think she's doing amazing. I've been very up and down with her all season, but I think this week has been a really good week for her. These past 2 weeks, honestly, have been really good. She clearly has really good insight into the game. She understands the house probably better than most of the people that are in it right now. And she's found herself into really good positioning. I am going to go with an 8 for Ashley. I feel really good about everything that she's doing and her future in the game as well. Like, I feel like she's setting herself up to be good for future weeks. I know there's some people that want to target her, but I also think, sorry, my dog. I also think that some of the
Shout out
people
to
like
everyone's
Kat
dogs
and
in the
Laura-
crib.
Yeah,
No,
dogs
literally.
are in the crib tonight.
I feel like some of the people that were really going to be targeting her, like a Kat and a Lauren, are now looking more at doing the Rachel, maybe a Keanu. Like, I feel like she's not the biggest target for that side of the house these days. So yeah, that's where my 8 comes from. Hopefully I don't regret it.
All right. Well, the audience is a little bit lower. They agree with Melissa on this one. They gave Ashley a 6. So,
But is that like our highest rating? I feel like a 7 is not an average of 7 is not normal for this season.
A 7 average has not been achieved since the week before Zach was evicted when he got a 7.
Oh boy.
Wow.
To be fair, though, that didn't come from me. Melissa, you gave him an 8.
Yeah, well, you know, I was wrong. I'm willing to say
I hope I'm not wrong.
So there we go. It is a 7 overall for Ashley, and I did forget to change it to week 7. There we go. Let's talk about Ava. Last week, I gave Ava a 5. I've been giving her 5s the last few weeks, despite higher ratings from the audience and from the panelists. And last week, I told Ava, "This is my last 5. If you don't step your game up, this is going down." And I do not think that she is stepping her game up. She is so not stepping her game up that she is currently on the block and was not included in the judges' alliance. Like, that's such a miss from her. And it's because she keeps crashing out about Ashley for no reason and crying over Riley for no reason. And it's just unfortunate because her passivity in the game requires good positioning in order to function properly. And she does not have that good positioning right now. The fact that she's on the block is very bad. The fact that she is not included in this alliance is very bad. And honestly, the fact that she continues to lose any kind of win equity in this game is really bad. She's diminished any credit that she could have taken for her HOH by saying, "Was I manipulated? Maybe. Frankly, I think I was." And so I just really do not like what she has been doing. I am going to give her a 3.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. I think the idea that you could say to like one person or whatever, because you're trying to get something out of it. Yeah, I guess I was manipulated. But that should not be the story you're telling everyone, is that like, my whole HOH, I was manipulated. And, you know, this whole Riley thing. And it's a lot and it's not good. And of course she's on the block and I don't think she's going to go home, but there's always a chance and it's never a good position to be on the block. And then the thing about not being part of the alliance, I mean, all of your allies are in that alliance, basically. So the idea that you are not automatically included, or that your allies didn't think like, okay, hey, well, we got to get Ava involved, that's not a good sign. So yeah, it's just not looking great for her right now. I mean, hopefully next week it changes, but yeah, 3 for me.
Yeah, I originally had a 4 for Ava, but I completely forgot that she's literally on the block this week. So
that was an influence to go below 4 for me.
Yeah, I think I'm going to give her that 3 too, for all the reasons that you guys said as well. I think it's so bad that the alliance that seemingly is starting to take over, she's not a part of. Not only is she not a part of it and her allies are a part of it, none of her allies, her final 2s and Will or Rachel, even thought to tell her about the alliance. So yeah, 3 sounds good.
Yes. Well, the audience is mostly with us. They went from a 6 last week down to a 4, but not quite as low as a 3 for Ava quite yet, but she will average out at a 3 there. Also, I think I forgot to change the order, so I guess we're getting all funky with it here. But Melissa, let's start with you on Katherine.
I just figured you were very keen on talking about Ava. So I was like, oh, I'll let him go. He's got this. Katherine, obviously not a good week for her. Riley went home, her biggest ally, her protection basically in the game. I mean, everyone was afraid to nominate Katherine because they knew Riley would be angry at them. That was going to be her ticket to endgame, was having a showmance that would always vote together and things like that. And now not only that, but she's on the block. She was not able to successfully convince Vince to not put her on the block. She doesn't really have any allies. I really had hoped that with Riley leaving, maybe someone would scoop her up, or maybe she would go to, someone and just be like, hey, I have no one. I would like to work with you, whatever. It just doesn't seem like she's done that. So yeah, it's not looking great for her, and she might go home this week. So for me, it'll be a 2.
Oh, Kat. Yeah. This one's hard. I guess it is harder to go higher on Kat than Ava, because Ava at least has like some strong allies and no one is looking to target her. Also, Kat could very likely go home. All it takes is Kelly winning the blockbuster this week, and Kat is almost definitely evicted. So yeah, I'll go with the 2 for Kat as well.
All right. The audience agrees. They gave Katherine a 2. I am going to agree as well. Again, this is a spot where I might in another season give her a 1, because she's on the wall against somebody that just flipped on her, trying to make a deal, and she doesn't do it. And he's clearly beating her in this competition. If she makes that deal with Vince, gives him just a little bit more ammo to use as a reason why he can't put up Katherine. He made a deal with her on the wall. He wouldn't have won the wall if he didn't make a deal with her. Maybe that's all it takes, and that kind of mistake is usually worthy of a 1, but we have different levels of mistakes this season. So she'll get a 2 from me. Her position has deteriorated considerably since last week, obviously, with Riley leaving and her side of the house just continuing to crumble, not to mention the fact that she's on the block and could leave. It's barely a 2. It's barely a 2. I just don't want to overuse the 1s, to be honest. Nah, screw it. I'm giving her a 1.
Oh, I was gonna say not making that deal on the wall is even worse, considering she felt like she was about to fall. Like, she didn't even feel strong that she was gonna win. So it's like, okay, if you probably are about to fall and Vince looks really strong, you definitely need to be making that deal.
I can't not give a 1. It's bad stuff.
If they deserve the 1s, they deserve the 1s. We could have 10 1s on the board, it's fine.
It's just that there are people doing way worse than Katherine. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, yeah. Which is sad. Which is, shocking.
Yeah.
All right, Keatsy, what do you think of Keanu?
Well, speaking of way worse than Katherine, no. Not no. But Keanu is he's so bad, and like, he's been really bad for weeks, but at least he was aligned with someone who's really good in Rachel Riley, and now he doesn't even have Rachel on his side. Rachel was the one true alliance that, even though he, I guess, doesn't realize it, the one that he actually could trust, and that was actually telling him all of the true things that were happening, where everyone else is just lying to him, snowing him, and he doesn't even realize it. And he just has such bad reads. And even when people, mostly women, tell him the right things that he needs to believe, he doesn't believe it. And then he believes the lies that the men are telling him. Like, it's so frustrating to watch. I think it's horrible. I honestly don't see, unless things like rapidly change in this next jury phase, I don't see that he can get to the end and win the game, especially because I feel like if he did get to those final 2 seats, he would stand up and give a speech about how he controlled Vince's HOH and like did all of these different things that everyone in the jury is going to know he didn't actually do, and he doesn't even realize it. So I think he's just in a bad spot altogether, and it doesn't seem to be getting better. So, I mean, the only thing is he has kept himself off the block last week because Rachel won. Now this week with Vince didn't even really consider putting him on the block, which I think was pretty good. But I think he's still a 2 for me because he's still a target of so many people, like Lauren, Mickey, even people that he kind of is on the side with. Like Kelly talks about targeting him. A lot of people do. And I think a lot of people would at least vote him out if he were on the block. So yeah, I think the 2 for Keanu. Honestly, probably should be lower, but at least this week he's not on the block. So.
Well, the audience does agree. They gave Keanu a 2, but there's absolutely no chance that I am. I'm giving him a 1. Because what in the world are you doing, Keanu? I feel like I've spoken plenty about why Keanu is a 1. I honestly don't even think I need to justify it in this particular segment. He is betraying the only person, the actual only person in the game that actively wants to work with him, got caught doing it and now has lost that person. And he should know better, is all I have to say. What do you think, Melissa?
Oh, yeah. I mean, yeah, I'm going to give him a 1 as well. I'm so disappointed in him. It just, none of this makes any sense. It'd be one thing if, Rachel was not actually an ally of his and he actually was working with Vince, but nobody else wants to work with him. Rachel was the literal only person who wanted to work with him in this game and was actually giving him legit information, giving him real good stuff. And instead of trusting her and being like, oh my God, thank you for telling me this stuff. Thank you for telling me that this person was coming after me. He didn't believe her. And now it's targeting her for no reason. No reason. She got out somebody who was targeting him. And because of that, he's mad at her. I don't know. He's upset that she got out Riley. And so he's turned to Vince, who really doesn't care about him, and tried desperately to get her on the block. It'd be one thing if Rachel was going home this week. It'd be one thing if it was like, hey, look, it's stupid that he did this, but at least she's not going to come after him because she's going to be gone and she was a big threat or whatever. No, she's staying in the house and now she obviously isn't going to work with him or trust him ever again. And it's just so disappointing because it was a solid position for him to be working with Rachel. He could have been her number 1. He could have literally been her number 1. And now it's over. And he doesn't have a number 1. He doesn't have a number 2. He doesn't have anybody. Nobody wants to work with him. So yeah, it's very, very, very disappointing. Yeah, he's a 1.
Taran, you absolutely have to change my 2 to a 1 because I will not go on record as being higher on Keanu than everyone else.
Wow, yeah, the highest
horrible.
QT loves Keanu.
No, yeah, you guys made some fire points. What it has to be a 1. Like it's so bad. I tried to get the benefit of the doubt.
He actively made the Rachel backdoor not happen for himself. Like,
right. Yeah.
Speaking of, as did Kelly, who's getting a 1 from me. She's paying the invoice from week 1, but also the invoice from week 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 and 6. But especially the one from week 1 where she volunteered on Vince's HOH. He didn't even bother to ask for her to volunteer this time around. He just stuck her on the block. What more can we say about Kelly that we haven't said already? She is the most likely person to leave once again. It's a 1.
Yeah, 1 for me as well. I said what I needed to say earlier. She's just, she rejects people who actually want to work with her, and she doesn't really have any allies. I don't think anybody would be, I think the only situation where Kelly stays in the house any week, not just this week, is if people want to get out someone else. It's never going to be like, we have to save Kelly. We want to work with Kelly. We have to vote out whoever else she's up against. It's just Kelly happens to stay because we want to get out this other person. And that's not a good place to be. It means you're always expendable. And it's just, yeah, it's been disappointment after disappointment with Kelly, unfortunately.
Yeah, she's going to be a 1 for me as well. Just absolutely horrible gameplay. Like I was saying earlier, she put herself in this position week after week, and then now is kind of like playing the victim. Woe is me. I can't believe this. I mean, even Kelly herself told Vince this week after Mickey won the veto, like, I just don't think there's a chance for me. Like, I'm gone this week. You have to start planning for me not being in the house. So even she knows it. So yeah, one.
All right. Well, as we know, the audience does not often give out ones. It's pretty difficult to do. So this time around, they did, in fact, give a one.
Oh.
They shot the moon. We have all ones.
Has the audience? I feel like the audience is like never gives out ones.
It's pretty rare.
Oh
pretty
my
rare.
God.
It
Wow.
wasn't even really that close either.
Wow.
We did it, guys. We did it.
So yeah, this is starting to look like it's binary here.
Yeah.
This is your sign to watch Big Brother before you go play the game, because
Yes.
what
And
was
not just
Kelly
one
doing?
season.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Not just the season with Tucker.
Yep. All right. So I intentionally messed up the order that time so I could surprise us with the one there. So let's talk about Lauren. We'll be jumping all over the place. We'll start with the audience rating. Lauren this week got a 3 from the audience. It was definitely not a good week for Lauren. She used the veto on Vinny, then lost Riley. Then Vinny won HOH. Then Vinny is now taking out another one of Lauren's allies and made her cry on her birthday. It's very bad. It's very bad for Lauren. I mean, the fact that she can win comps is good, but doesn't help if her allies take out her allies and she has no one and nobody respects her. And she can't even push back hard enough on Vince. Like, she's allowing Morgan to just run Vince's HOH. She's allowing Morgan to tell Vince we should take out Lauren soon. It's just bad news. It's bad news for Lauren. And yeah, I mean, it's a bad position. Let me just make sure I've got some space here, because I'm definitely considering a 2 for Lauren this week. There's definitely some room for it. Should it be a 3? Should it be a 2?
2.
I do think she still has currently more win equity than Ava, but she's in way more danger than Ava. The fact that I just listened to a conversation with Morgan and Vince where Morgan was explaining to Vince and Vince was like, I would love to protect Lauren if I could. And Morgan was like, I don't think we can. Sorry about that. Yeah, I think I have to give her a 2.
Yeah, it's a 2 for me as well. I just feel like I don't really see where she goes from here. I think that her opportunities are just dwindling. I think she could have gone with Katherine and Riley and that whole thing, but now Riley's gone and maybe Katherine's gone. And Vince is obviously not a super great ally to her. And then, she's not included in that big alliance, even though Vince is in the alliance. You would think he'd want to get some protection for Lauren. And I know he says to her, like, oh yeah, you're protected, but she's not. And I think that because she doesn't have so many connections in the house, I think she could be an easy target, or maybe not a target, but more of an easy boot. I think it would be like, well, who are we really making mad with this move? I guess Vince. Okay. So I'm worried for Lauren. I think she really needs to start, making allies, and the fact that she just can't really make a decision, I think, is not helpful for that. And I feel like she just trusts Vince too much. So it's a 2.
Yeah, Lauren has completely plummeted. I think her only upside is how well she does in these comps. So I can see, even if she were nominated as a target, her pulling out a veto win, or, I mean, now in this season right now, there's 2 opportunities to save yourself. So I think that helps her a little bit, that she's so good at comps, but socially, she's just really bad. I can see a world where she gets to a jury phase, maybe a final 7, final 6. And when things start to reform, she gets included in something, but I don't feel confident about that. Also, her indecisiveness, I think, is the thing that kills her game completely, because it makes people not want to be aligned with her because she's so indecisive and doesn't know how to choose and doesn't just completely choose her allies or not. I think last week was really bad for her, not using using the veto. She definitely should have not used it. I understand she was scared. She didn't want another ally to go. But if she would just really talk to people and understand where everyone lies, she would have seen that Vince had the votes to stay. You're still gambling it, but I think it's better to gamble that, not have another ally and Riley go. But then it's also like, okay, even if Riley would have stayed, she's still, or that whole side still needed to solidify something. Like they never were coming together as a group. It was just kind of known that they hang out together. Like talking myself out of it. I was going to give her 3, but it's feeling like she's just really bad. I think I'm going to stick with a 3 for her though, because of those comp wins. I think it pushes her up a little bit more in my book, especially I think she's a little higher than Kat, and I gave Kat a 2. So yeah, I feel good with a 3.
I think the veto decision is really interesting to look back on, because obviously there were different opinions at the time, whether she should use it, whether she should not use it. And depending on different results, there were maybe different answers. And this time last week, I think the analysis for me at least was like, oh, this actually turned out well for her with Riley going on the block, with the assumption of as long as Riley stays.
Right.
But after the fact, it's like in hindsight, yeah, way worse for her game to have used it. However, you look at it, and given what happened to Riley, you can almost guarantee that Vince would have gone home if she hadn't used this, because Morgan locked back in with those people and Mickey won the blockbuster with a pretty convincing score. There's a very good chance Vince loses that blockbuster and they don't vote out Morgan over Vince because they prefer Morgan, and Vince does actually go in that spot.
That's actually sick.
And so in that situation, it's like, oh, maybe she was right to use the veto on Vince. But then it comes back to what I said weeks and weeks ago, which is I think this is one of the rare instances where it's actually a good thing to lose your number one ally, because Vince is such a parasite, is so not advantageous to have as an ally at all, that it actually does benefit Lauren to lose him as an ally, as a player in the game, because she would do much better without him. I think, unfortunately for her, it might be too late for that. We are past the halfway point, and she has still not developed the relationships she needs with the other side, as the relationships she does have are continuing to fall. So even if Vince does leave, it's like, where does she even go from there? Yeah. Does she even have the ability to go back in anywhere? That's tough at this point. But man, even if she had lost Vince last week, I think that's still a net positive for her compared to this week, where she saved Vince with the veto, and then he put her on the losing side of a vote, and then he won HOH and put her again on the losing side of the power on the HOH, and now she is so screwed. She could not be more screwed. And it's almost like Nathan uses the veto on Allie, but like way worse. Like,
why didn't he involve her? Like once he decided, oh God. Once he decided that he was going to vote out Riley, why not get Lauren in on it and just be like, look, we have to do this. Like, just get on the right side of the vote. You don't want to be on the wrong side.
Oh, I would never want to pressure anybody into doing something like that, Melissa. I decided in the moment anyway, like I was so scared. And so I didn't even realize that was going to happen for sure. And, I figured you were never going to vote that way anyway. You wouldn't be able to live with yourself. So it's not even, I wouldn't want to do that to you.
If my ally was not telling me about the way they were going to vote or keeping me in the dark about certain decisions, I'd be like, okay, this is obviously not an ally of mine. Like, that is not an ally.
I know. I'm so terrible, Melissa. You're so right. I'm such a bad ally. I really need to do better.
I can't even imagine having these types of conversations in the house. It would be so infuriating.
Yeah,
I'd be like, shut up.
You're totally right to be infuriated with me. You're totally right. I suck so much, Melissa. Oh my God.
I would die.
What can you say to that?
I'm trying so hard.
What can you say?
I would just walk away. I could not have a conversation with someone who's whining like that about a decision that they made.
Them? Oh, the whole time, no, you're actually good. Like, that is the most annoying conversation to have.
I hate it.
All right. Anyway. Melissa, what are your thoughts on Mickey?
Not great. Obviously, Mickey was the big target this week. However, Mickey saved herself with the veto, but I don't think Mickey's in the clear. I do think that next week she's in danger. But at the same time, she won the veto, so I don't think I can give her a 1. Obviously, I don't think she's putting in enough work to be safe next week, but the fact that she'll still be here gives her a chance. I mean, she could win HOH. So, yeah, I guess I'm willing to go up to a 2 because she really hasn't put herself in a good spot. I mean, she wins the veto. Obviously, she's going to take herself off. So it's not like she can really like wheel and deal and, make some moves there. But you would expect something else, especially if she starts to realize she's the target. She's a big target. She needs to, figure something else out because whatever she was doing before was not working. So for me, it's I think it's a 2. Although I am willing to go up if people disagree.
Yeah, Mickey has just been all over the place. I've said this week after week. I think she could be a really good player. I think she does a pretty good job of talking to people, and she's willing to put herself out there and have conversations with everyone about game, which I think is really important, especially in a season where some people don't do that or don't have conversations with people. But it's almost like the Keanu thing where she just keeps trusting the wrong people or wanting to be on the wrong side with people that are not really on her side. I think she's obviously been the target now for 2 weeks and has been able to save herself miraculously. But I do think that the more that she's saving herself and staying week after week, she's kind of getting back into a little bit of a better position. Like, I think right now she's in a better position than she was when she first went on the block last week. Because last week when she first went on the block, Ashley was still wanting to, Ashley, I don't remember now. I feel like a lot of people were willing to get her out, and then it kind of switched to, no, we need to keep her. And now people are realizing that they need her as a number. So I think that hopefully maybe as she continues to be in these positions of, or not being in positions of power, I think when she's in the positions of power this season is when she does the worst, because people start to feel like she's being really mean or she's controlling things. But now that she's realizing, hopefully, that she doesn't have as much control, and obviously she keeps getting targeted and nominated, I think that maybe she can see herself getting back into a better position. So I think I have to give her a 3 this week because she did save herself, so she's not going anywhere. And I think she can start to get on better terms with people, hopefully.
All right. Well, the audience gave her a 4 this week. But I agree with the 3. I think that her position, she survived the 2 weeks in a row that she was supposed to go home. And that's huge. We've seen this already with Kelly, with Keanu. If you survive, enough weeks, you can get to a point where you're no longer the main target. Now, does that mean that she is in a good place? No, very much not so. Nobody really respects her game much anymore. Nobody takes what she says super seriously all that much anymore. She did manage to be effective with Vince. And I think that's because it was something that wasn't to do with herself. And so what I will say is, she's definitely an easy backup target anywhere you go. They're asking is a high or low 4. It was a low 4. It was a 3.8. So not super low 4, but on the lower side for sure. She's not really a high priority target right now, but she is somebody easy to throw up on the block or to potentially take out as a backup target. But there are a lot of people that wouldn't want to be the person to do it. And that means she has a little bit more time. And with her not being in power right now, she is fitting in a little bit better. She has lost a little bit of the dictator status, just a little bit this week. Now, I don't trust for a second that it won't come back. Is if she wins an HOH, if she feels like she's in power again, she could completely tank her game once more. But I think right now a 3 kind of works. If she does somehow make it to the end, I do think she has some win equity in a jury vote just because of her previous status as a house dictator. All right. Let's talk about Morgan. Cutie, what do you think about Morgan?
Morgan is, I think, in a really great spot right now, especially with getting Vince to put up Kat. I mean, it wasn't only her, but I think she's done a lot of work to make sure that Kat is the person that goes up. And I think it leaves her in a great spot with kind of both sides. Not a lot of people are necessarily targeting her. I think it's also good that she sees that she can't. Sorry, my dog. No. Okay, he stopped. I think she's in a good spot that she sees Mickey for who she is, and she knows that she can't 100% trust Mickey, and she's not even being snowed by Mickey kind of being good this week. She still has in the back of her mind that she can't completely trust her. She also can't target her, but I think she'd be willing to vote her out if she was up, which I think is good. She's in this new alliance that she's pretty high up in with the judges. She's also good with Vince, who's good with Lauren. I mean, she doesn't like Lauren, and Vince keeps telling Lauren that. So that's, I guess, like kind of some downside. But overall, I think she's doing really good. She's in a good position, and I think she's capable of keeping this position, if not going higher. I'd love to see her win a comp. I feel like that could maybe put her in an even better position, but dang, now that 8 that I gave Ashley is kind of coming to haunt me because I want to give Morgan a 7, but I'm like, she is doing as good, if not better than Ashley. I'm still just going to give her a 7. That's what I'm feeling. That's the vibes. That's the aura I have. So 7 for Morgan.
Well, the audience agrees. They also gave Morgan a 7, which is definitely one of the closest. There were a few 7s from the audience in the early weeks, but it's definitely the highest rating the audience has given a player in a few weeks. Not since Ava's 7 in week 4 has the audience given a 7. So high rating for Morgan. I agree. I think a 7 makes sense for me. I think that this was a very, very strong bounce back week for Morgan. Somebody asked me in the Q&A on Friday, right after the eviction, who are your contenders to win right now? And as I was thinking about it, I was like, I think actually Morgan is in like the top 3 right now. And things have only gotten better from Friday. Like, she has put in some serious work. We've talked about, like, Vince talking about flirting as a strategy with Morgan, except who's influencing who here? Because Morgan ran his HOH pretty hard, and he looks terrible in the making of it. Now, I will say there is some downside to that, which is that Morgan is a bit bigger of a target now for people like Keanu and Lauren and Katherine and Kelly. One of those people is leaving, very likely. But there's a good chance she could end up on the block with, say, Rachel. And then it's maybe like a blockbuster away from being the de facto target there. But like, would her side even vote her out at that point? Like, that's another question you could ask. I don't think she's in significant danger right now. The fact that she's locked Vince in is really impressive. She's locked in with Ashley and Will, which is really solid. I really do think that out of nowhere, Morgan has become a contender to win this game. That said, again, this is still Morgan. There's a reason why the last 3 weeks she's gotten an average of 2. Before that, she had 6s, 3 6s in a row, then 3 2s in a row. So I'm a little hesitant to go super wild on Morgan right now just because she had 1 good week. But if this is a taste of what's to come for Morgan, I really do think that we are in for some good runs here for her. So 7 for me.
Yeah, 7 for me as well. I've been very impressed with Morgan this week. I think that Morgan, like we all said, has really been putting in the work in a good way and not just, doing a lot, which I feel like has been a critique of Morgan for the past few weeks, is just like, she's doing too much. She's doing too much. She's all over the place. But I really think that this week she actually like locked in and knew what she needed to get done and got it done. And I've been very impressed with her. And I think if she just gets the right information and she just knows, okay, this is what needs to be done, she can do it. I think it's when it gets a little convoluted, like when her and Mickey are talking a lot and when she's in that relationship, or when it's when she gets bad intel or whatever, then it just can go haywire and she can lock in on the wrong thing. And so I think that's where we need to be concerned. But this week was a great week for her. I really think that, I mean, maybe I'm just like wishful thinking or whatever, but I do think that if her and Ashley can become a good team together, like I think Ashley has really good reads and Morgan can get locked in and accomplish things and get stuff done. And I think the two of them could be like a really great combination. So I'd be interested to see what happens with that. I know that they're, who knows what's going to happen, but that would be a fun combination for me. So yeah, 7. Good job, Morgan. Look at that. 2 to a 7.
2 to a 7. I wonder what 101% the chat is saying she went up by. So she has doubled your money. If you took the risk and invested in Morgan, who had a very high chance of leaving heading into the eviction, you would have doubled your money. I wonder if anyone did that. So interesting stuff there. Let's talk about Rachel. And I can tell you, Rachel received a 7 from the audience as well. So a few things about Rachel. You definitely have to ding her on the Keanu play because it very nearly cost her everything. Mm-hmm. However, you also have to then say she was able to fix it because seemingly it was her conversation with Vince right before the ceremony that managed to flip him back into keeping her around. So that's huge. End result for this week is also huge. The fact that she now finally doesn't trust Keanu anymore, also huge. However, she did lose him fully this week as well, which is not great. So where does this end up falling? Well, it's tricky because I do think she's still in a pretty good place, but she's still not in like the best place. I really do think that like the best place right now is kind of reserved for players like Ashley and Morgan, who are in less danger than her and a bit more connected. For as much as people went to bat for Rachel this week, especially again with the loss of Keanu, who are her people, right? Like, who does she really have locked in that wouldn't kind of drop her if they needed to? I think you can maybe say that about Ashley, but it's tough. You can not really say that about Will. And aside from that, like, Morgan will be looking at Rachel soon, I think. That is something to be worried about. But I already predicted what I've got going on here, which is that I do owe her some points from last week because I was lower than I should have been because I really did not see the vision. I did not think Riley was going to leave, at least at that time on Monday. And really all the way up until literally Ava said the words. So I am going to pay her back. I'm gonna boost her up to an 8 for myself.
Wow.
Yeah. I mean, I'm so impressed. Like, I mean, what can I say? I thought there was absolutely no way Riley was going home. I mean, look at the scores we gave. I gave Riley a higher score than I gave Rachel. No, I gave him the same because I literally was like, he's not going anywhere. This is not going to happen. I mean, look, it's wishful thinking, guys, because everybody was locked in. Everybody was like, oh, no. We cannot vote out Riley. He's my number one ally. I love him so much. He's America's sweetheart. We can't let him go. And I just thought there's absolutely no way that's happening. And then there you go. He's gone. So I am super impressed. And look, to be fair, I'm not going to say like, oh, it was all Rachel's doing. She did the whole thing. But that's what she wanted to happen. And it happened. So, put 2 and 2 together. And this week I was very concerned for her. There was really a potential that she was going to go on the block. But then to see all these people vouch for her, I think that was very significant. it's not just Rachel vouching for herself, but it's a bunch of people saying it's not the time, it's not the move. And obviously part of that is it's not the time now, but it will be soon. So we have to worry about that coming up. But at this point, Rachel's not on the block. She's not going home. She has opportunities next week. Obviously, it's not great, the Keanu thing, but Keanu wasn't a good ally to her anyway. So it's like, as much as I wish he was a good ally to her, and it would have sucked, had he been a good ally and then she loses him, he was not a good ally to her. He did not trust her. He would tell her what she would tell him. He would give that information to others, and it was just not good for her game to be working with him. So it's ultimately a benefit for her to have him be not, to have her not trust him anymore. Obviously, it would have been a benefit for her if he wanted to work with her. But at this point, it doesn't seem like he is. So maybe she'll win him over again, but I don't know. With Keanu, I really don't know. So for me, I think I want to give her some points from last week. I'm concerned about her moving forward because I do think she's a big target now. But I hope that she can make some more inroads next week. And so for me, it's a 7 because last week she did it. She did it.
Yeah. After Taran's 8 for Rachel, I don't feel as bad about my 8 for Ashley now. So that's good. I feel good now. No, I think Rachel, it's been said every single week. She's like by far the best player that we have in this season, or like the most capable player. And she's playing with some like really bad players. But I think she's overall in some good positioning. The problem is that even though people aren't saying it anymore because she called them out for it, I think people still only want to get her to jury. Like no one necessarily really wants to sit next to her or get her too deep into the game. They just want to get her to that checkpoint, as everyone keeps saying. So I think down the road in the next few weeks, it's going to get a little bit scarier for her. But the fact that she's made it this far without being on the block at all, with how many people get nominated every single week, is mind-blowing to me. It's like very, very impressive, and just speaks to how good her social game is. I think she's playing a better social game maybe than she has in her previous 2 seasons too. Like she doesn't have as many people against her. So I think she's maybe learned from that and has worked a little bit better with people. Also with the Keanu thing, I think it's kind of a net even. Like it's bad that she brought the information to Keanu, but because she did that, she now realizes that she can't trust Keanu. And it seems like this is the only thing that was going to get her to that point. So I'm kind of happy that it happened the way it did, because now she knows that she can't trust him and is going to be targeting him, which is exactly what we needed. So feeling really good about her. I'm going to give her the 7 just because I don't think the longevity is there necessarily, but she's in a good position for now. And she's Rachel Riley. She can do something and possibly make it to the end still. We'll see.
I'm very glad you both gave 7s because I would have felt bad if I pushed her to an 8 for the bonus points. It does feel. I'm going to say this because sometimes people love to post screenshots. Rachel at an 8, Morgan and Ashley at a 7 for me is not representative of their current status. It is truly and purely bonus points from last week. Giving a little bit of credit back to Rachel from last week for actually succeeding the shot on Riley. All right, let's move on then to Vince. Let's talk about Vince. Man, what a week for Vince. Okay. I think he has been a disaster of an HOH. I think that he has proven to us time and time again that he will consistently choose, like when he has 2 options, he will always choose the middle bad path, the middle worst path of all of his choices. And that is, of course, a very silly thing to do. Do I think that choosing to not go after Rachel is as dumb as he fears it is? No, I actually do think there are some benefits. Do I think doing it in the way that he did it was at all good? Absolutely not. The fact that he came that close, the fact that he told multiple people, including Will, he was basically about to do it, the fact that he basically was telling Rachel in the moment that he was about to do it. Rachel is not Keanu. Rachel is not Lauren. She's not going to forget these things. And if she is in power again and she misses a shot on somebody else, I know she is going to be thinking, I mean, why would I waste a shot on Katherine? Like, when I could be taking out Vinny right now. And I think she would absolutely take a shot like that, on top of the fact that she is still the person. It doesn't matter that she's on to Keanu now. She still recognizes what Vince is and will continue to tell people that and undermine his game. And so her being here is still not great for him. That said, he still has some outs here. If he's able to, I forgot Mickey had a dream that she shouldn't trust him. If Mickey has another dream that says she should trust him again, he would have the melting pot. And he still has Keanu and he still has Lauren. And those are good competitors. And so he can still kind of potentially comp out a little bit, but it's still, I think, a net negative week for him. I'm going to give him a 4.
Yeah, I totally agree with the 4. I think, yes, he has certain people working for him, but yeah, like you said, the way he went about this week was just so bad and indecisive. I think this could have actually been a really good week for him, had he just picked a lane and stuck with it and gotten people on board and just, taking control of his own HOH. But at this point, it was basically Morgan's HOH. And, I don't think he gained any allies or respect from his indecisiveness this week. And, it's not great. So, yeah.
Sorry, I thought about it more. I changed it to a 3.
I love the change.
All right. I'm going to stick with the 4.
I just remembered that, like, I'm thinking of it from his current dilemma where I'm like, the decision to not do Rachel isn't that bad. But then I remembered how I thought he should be doing from the start of the week. And it's almost like I got tricked into thinking that his dilemma was unavoidable when it totally was avoidable. So he's getting at least a 3 from me.
Yeah, I'm very much off of the Vince train, very down on him. I think it's truly been a horrible week for him because of how he's handled it. Again, I said it earlier, I don't think what he did was necessarily bad. It's how he got there that I think is horrible. I mean, he made Lauren cry and then also played the victim when talking to her about it and was like, well, I'm in a worse position than you. Like, he just, even the allies that he has, he doesn't make them feel good. Morgan has had to work overtime in order to get him to stick with the judges, which he ultimately does. But if you're going to ultimately do that, then don't make it seem like it was such a struggle for you. I think that even in the position he's in now, I don't think it's horrible that he didn't put Rachel up. I still think that he probably should have. But even in not putting Rachel up, he still is not in good with the judges. I think he's still at the bottom of that alliance. So it's like he chose that side, but not in the way that puts him in any better of a position with them. So now if even like a Kat wins HOH, if she puts him up, even if it is as a pawn, the judges have the votes. So even if he's next to someone else, a part of that alliance, they're still going to choose the other person over him. So like, I think it's just bad positioning overall. I don't like how he whines all the time. I think I heard you, America and Corey, Taran, talk about this on the update yesterday after the episode, but he almost has that like Nicole personality in the game without being as good as Nicole. And I just think the whining is so annoying. And I think people are going to start to get frustrated. I think once he's not HOH next week, if Kat stays, Lauren and Kat will start talking about the fact that he's been so whiny and annoying. And I think even the people that he thinks he has close to him are going to start distancing themselves. So I'm going to go with a 3 for Vince here.
All right. The audience gave him a 4. Gave him a 4 this week. So he will land at a 4. There it is for Vince. Man, despite the 5 last week, the 4 this week, I have been so up and down on Vince all season. Look at this. Look at this. I gave him a 3 this week. Sorry, let's start from the beginning. A 1 week 1, then a 6,
Yeah.
then a 2,
Wow.
then a 7,
Whoa.
then a 3, then a 6, and now a 3 again.
He's bound to
He's
get the 8
literally
next
been
week.
up and down and up and down. Oh my God.
Anyway, let's talk about Will. Melissa, what are your thoughts on Will?
I think Will is in a good spot. It doesn't seem like anybody's really trying to target Will at this point. And I think that the fact that he's included in the Judges Alliance and the fact that he's, he's on the right side of the house. And I do really appreciate that he like takes in information and doesn't just spill it to everybody else. He really just listens. But at the same time, I don't know if he is doing enough. I think he's doing enough to get by each week. But yeah, I just don't know what then comes of it. He doesn't seem to be like leading anything or really, putting himself out there. At this point, I'm going to give him a 6 because I think that overall this is a good week for him. But yeah, I'd like to see him do some more and be more out there and more strategic and take some initiative. But yeah.
Yeah, I agree with you, Melissa. I'm going to give him a 6. I think he's in a pretty good spot. I too appreciate that he listens. I don't think enough people do that this season, but he doesn't.
And I know there was that whole segment with him like fake listening or whatever and zoning out, but they don't care about that. That doesn't matter. He can he can fake listen all he wants. The people they think that he's listening, and that's all that matters.
Yeah. And he like replicates what they say, which I also think is good because then it just makes the person feel like you're more on their side. But I wish he would maybe do a little bit more, but he's also in a good position where it's like he doesn't have to do too much. But then it also kind of feels like he hasn't done much this season. So if he continues this at the end, I don't see what he can say he really did other than just like play the middle and kind of float to the end. Not passively, but still, yeah, just not doing enough. I would like to see him do more. I'd like to see him win a veto. I think a veto more than an HOH because I don't think he needs to out his position or make enemies with anyone, but I want to see him from some kind of position of power and see what he does with that and how he wields it and hopefully talks to people and I don't know, gets more insight on what everyone is thinking. So yeah, I want to see him in some kind of position of power and doing something. But I will say, I think from last week when he really took the initiative in starting that alliance, the Judges, I think from there he's setting himself up really good. So I want to see more of that from him week after week.
All right. Well, the audience gave Will a 7.
Ooh.
Higher than the two of you. I'm inclined to agree. I don't think it's a lasting 7, but I want to give him extra credit for basically being the person that headed up this alliance. Ashley helped implement it, but it was really Will's idea. He pushed for this, and it was the two of them. I give them both credit for it. But I really was impressed with the way that Will was able to put this together. It helped keep Morgan in the game. The way that he is able to like hold on to all of these relationships. A lot of people look at him as somebody that they really trust. I think that he is not in as good a position to win the game as somebody like Ashley or Morgan right now. But I think he's a lot safer than them. And he has pushed when he needed to this week in order to get what he needed to have happen. Would I have dinged him significantly if Vince had put up Rachel after he told him right before the ceremony, if you have to do it, I will support you? Yes, I would have. But he didn't. So he'll get a 7 from me. That's my thought on Will. And
I
that's
love
the ratings.
Cole in the chat just brought up when Will said it's not calculus, just put up cat. And that was one of my favorite lines from him this season because it's so true. It's like these people are making things so hard. It's not calculus. That needs to be Big Brother's new slogan. It's not calculus. Just do it.
Yeah, just do the easy move. It's not as complicated as you're making it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. All right. So that Those are the ratings. Those are the ratings for the week. What a boost here to have 4 ratings in the green, and then all the rest in the red or neutral. But
It's better than it was. I mean, like it's funny how it's like, there are some higher ratings, but there are also a lot of low ratings. There's also some pretty bad ratings.
Yeah, they're pretty bad ones. But obviously a very good week for the judges. We'll see if Vince crawls his way back up to a better rating next week. But that is it for the Stockwatch this week.
Nice.
We will be back next week, of course, to rate some more players, have some more data to look at. But what a week. I mean, again, I think the most interesting thing from all of the ratings I thought was the whole feeds thing. The fact that that this week for the feeds is so historically like the turning point for the feeds to start getting boring, and for this to be the highest rated week all season for feeds, a 7.8.
Yeah, it's really interesting because I feel like I always feel that turning point. I didn't know it was there at the same time every season, but I always feel that turning point where it's like, oh, the game's basically over at this point. Even though it's like obviously not over, it just feels like it is. It feels like whatever's coming is kind of a foregone conclusion and we're kind of just like trudging to the end. But this season, I feel like we're just getting started. Like, I feel like it hasn't really started yet. And now we're just getting, these past couple of weeks have just been getting started. So it's very interesting. And I wonder if it sticks. And I wonder if, it'll just keep getting better and better, obviously, till it gets boring at the end when there's only just a few people left. But I feel like, I don't know. I mean, I hope that's the case. I hope it doesn't drop off next week, but it feels like we're just starting to get into like something good here. So I do hope I hope it stays.
Yeah, I think it makes sense that the players are kind of getting better, and you can see it in like the player ratings, and then the live feeds and the weeks are getting better as well, because I think more people are playing a little bit more optimally, where like in the beginning, it was kind of like these people are just all so bad, it's hard to watch. And now it's like, okay, depending on who wins HOH, we might have an interesting week because they actually know what they should do. So yeah. And I think the fact that there's so many players that are so good relatively for this season and then so bad, it makes it fun, the dynamics of it all.
I mean, let's be real. Rachel took this season, picked it up off the ground and dusted it off, and is now carrying it on his back.
100%.
That is absolutely true. Yeah.
Carrying on her back, I should say. So that is, again, the Stockwatch for the week. Stay tuned. Tomorrow morning, I will have an update on everything that happened today on the Big Brother 27 live feeds, including something that sounded similar to Melissa's dogs just now. Quite the drama between Vince and Keanu, all of the lead up to the veto ceremony. So plenty to talk about in tomorrow's update. Of course, the slop is tomorrow as well. For the patrons of Robert's podcast, you can also, of course, check out my book, Behind the Mirror, at TaranArmstrong.com. You can pre-order the book. I'm also talking about Australian Survivor versus the World. Still watching Sari do her thing over in Australian Survivor. That coverage over on Patreon if you want to check that out. QT, what do you got going on?
First of all, I'm so excited for tomorrow morning to hear your reenactment of Keanu versus Vince. I think that's going to be a fun one. I'm up to anything and everything. You can follow me everywhere at Corey Tyler, QUORITYLER.
All right. And of course, you can find Melissa at It's Melissa with 3 A's. 3 of them there. And that is what we have for you. Thank you all so much for joining us here today. And we will see all of you next time.
This is RHAP. We know reality TV.